5, how many text messages did you send? Today we're going to be discussing histograms, and then we are going to also revisit cuss and BS. All right, so how many text messages did you send in a day? So the first thing we did is ask everybody in the class, how many did you send in a day? And this is the data I came up with. So you can go ahead, and if you want to go to statsmedic.com applets, go to one quantitative variable single group, you can make a histogram. However, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it on the calculator. So get your Inspire out, please. And you're going to go to Menu, List and Spreadsheets, New Document, List and Spreadsheets. And you're going to label, let's go ahead and make sure you label this. I'm going to just label it text messages, text mess, all right. And I'm going to go ahead and put all the data in. I cheated and did the data ahead of time just to make it a little quicker, but you can pause it or whatever, take pictures if you want to go ahead and put the data in as you see it. Okay, great. Once it's in, I'm gonna, let's put this one in here. All right, all right, once it's in, you're gonna go ahead and make a dot plot. And remember, to make a dot plot, you go to Control Doc and Data and Statistics. You're gonna highlight down here, text messages, okay? And then I'm going to make a histogram. To do a histogram, you're gonna click Menu, Plot Type, Histogram. And there's your histogram. But histogram has 9 letters, Histogram. And the reason I tell you that is because I want you to have no more than 9 bins. And this is a bin. Each one of these is a bin. And really 6 to 8 is ideal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look, 6 here has no data. And we're between 100 and it looks like 120. Anyway, we have a bunch of them. So we're going to change the bin size. So here we go. Let's go to Menu. I have to reset mine. Menu, Plot Properties, Histogram Properties, Bin Settings, Equal Bin Width. And I'm going to make them 100 because they're pretty small. All right, so it's a little bit big and I can't really see it. So I'm going to get Menu, Windows Zoom, Zoom Data. There we go. All right, so I'm able to see my histogram, and if you see, it's the same histogram. I did it just like this one because I wanted it to become on here. All right, so I just want to analyze the histogram for you. If you notice, you can hover over here or click it, and it shows you I have 11. So I have 11 between 0 and 100, but 100, if I have a value of 100, is actually over in this bin right here. So I have 4 between 100 and a little less than 200. If I had 200, 200 would be here. So this is between 200 and 299, and this is between 300 and 399, which is exactly what I have here. So it says, what percent of the students sent less than 100 messages a day? And so if I look at that, it says 13 sent oh, wait a minute. This says, what says 13 sent less than 100 messages a day? In my chart, it says 11. So that's actually not correct. I know the publisher put 13, but it should be 11 out of the 22 we had, which is 50%. So this is just a mistake here because you can see this is at 11. So that's not correct. That would be 11. Yeah. So that should be 11. And that should be 50%. All right. My pen's not working, I apologize, but that's okay. You know that's supposed to be 11. All right, so now let's describe the distribution. Remember I talked about cuss and BS. So the center is right about in the middle. And so I look at it and I see if I have 22 pieces of data, the center is about my 11th to 12th piece of data. So it's right here between about 100, between 100 and 150, right here. My center is the C. The U is unusual features, which is outliers and gaps. And I can look at C if I have outliers. And I don't have the specific data on here. I can't really tell if there's outliers here. If I looked at specific data that we had, then I could tell that I actually had an outlier. But on the histogram, it's kind of hard to see sometimes. I might have an outlier out here, the ones that are 300 or above 300. Variability is from 0 to 375 because I was given my original data. I just don't see it here. However, if you only have the histogram, you know that the data is that it's no more than 400. So the highest one could be 399 and the smallest one could be 0. So your range could be up to 399. Now I could have a text message that's 300. I could have all of them are just 300, and I could have them all here at 99. So it could be 300 minus 99, which would be 201. So that could also be my range, because with a histogram, I don't know if these four pieces of data here, I don't know if they have I don't know if they're all at 300 or if 301 or 302 all the way up to 399. We don't know that. The only way that we know is because I can look back at my data and see what I have. But if I just have a histogram without data, I really don't know. So C for center, C for center, S for shape. It's skewed to the right, definitely. Put a blanket on top of it, and it goes towards the right. You can see that the outliers are leaning to the right, leaning toward the larger numbers. All right, if you change the interval to a smaller number, let's change it to 50s. Let's see what happens. Menu, plot properties, histogram properties, bin settings, equal bin width, and we're gonna change it to 50. There you go. It's still skewed to the right. You can just see more data. And you also see you have some gaps. So the big learning target number 1 today is making a histogram. You're going to choose equal interval width. You're going to count the frequencies in each interval. You're going to draw. You're going to need a title, label, tick, tick, tick in order to be able to have it. Look here, you need a title to the histogram. You've got your labels. You've got your tick marks here. You've got your label here, frequency, and your tick marks here. And you see it's labeled here, number of text messages. Make sure you do that to have a complete histogram. In order to make the histogram, you're going to make a dot plot. First of all, you're going to make a dot plot, and then you're going to just put menu plot type histogram. Make sure there's no spaces in between there, because if there is a space in between there, what it means is there's no data. So for instance, on this one, there's no data between 150 and 199 text messages. Learning target 2 and 3. You're going to describe and compare distributions by using your CUS. Remember, C stands for center, that's number 2. U is unusual features, that's number 3. S stands for shape, number 1. And S stands for spread, which is number 3, how spread out it is. If you're comparing, use your percent instead of a frequency when comparing. Okay, let's look at this histogram here and see what we have for our answers. So first of all, if I ask you to describe the shape of the histogram, you can see if you put a blanket over it, it's not perfect, but it's fairly symmetric. The peak is about somewhere between the 52 and 56 age, so it has to be less than 56 years old. So they could have been 55 years old and 11 months and 30 days, but not 56 in this first bin, because this 52 to 56, the 56 belongs in the bin to the right, the bin to the right of 56. What percent of presidents took office before the age of 60? So what you would do to do that is you'd climb up here and you'd say, okay, there's 2 here, there's 4 here, there's 9 here, there's 11 here, and there's 8 here. This is 60, so that's before 60, and that's 34 divided by 45, and that's 75.6%. That concludes our lesson. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you.